Hi fucker. I wanted to make a quick video about this epic mod chip that I installed in my GameCube a few months ago called the Flippy Drive. The chip emulates the GameCube's disk drive and it lets you play GameCube ROMs off of an SD card. I pre-ordered mine a long ass time ago and it was like 45 bucks, and if you get one right now I think it's like 65 bucks, which is still pretty good compared to the cost of buying like any GameCube game right now. The installation is really easy and beginner friendly. It's reversible so it doesn't permanently change anything about the system. The game browser is integrated into the boot up and requires like no setup. And the UI is beautiful as fuck because it reuses the regular GameCube menu assets. The mod also maintains all original functionality, so you can still use the disk drive as normal. And it also adds the ability to region unlock the drive when you boot up, so you can play discs from any region. I'm gonna walk you through the installation and I'll talk about how it's been and the games that I've been playing on it. If you're installing the Flippy Drive, I think you should follow the awesome written tutorial that they have on their website. I'm just gonna show you the installation today for vibes, and so you can see if you want to do it or not. There's 4 screws at the bottom of the GameCube that you need to unscrew to lift up the top. They're the special Nintendo console screw heads. There are many screws holding down this disk drive, but once they're all unscrewed, you can just pop it off. The chip comes with this ribbon cable and a 3D printed mount for setting it up next to the disk drive. Or if your disk drive is broken and you don't want to reinstall it, it comes with this little cap that you can plug into the motherboard instead of the disk drive. But to install the chip, you have to fold this ribbon cable into a W shape so that you can place it right here where the disk drive plugs into the motherboard. This is me showing it off to the camera wrong as fuck. Thankfully I didn't fold it too hard so I didn't like irreversibly fuck up my ribbon cable, but when you're using the written guide, make sure to read it very carefully because I missed the part where it says to make sure that this arrow is on the top when you're folding the ribbon cable. But yeah, you just put the ribbon cable in here and then you put the disk drive back on, and you make sure that this part of the ribbon cable is threaded through the RF shield like this. The SD card plugs into the chip, and to set it up you just have to put all your ROMs on the root of the SD card. Once the mod is done, if you want to modify what's on the SD card, you have to pop off the top of the GameCube, which isn't a big deal to me because like how often am I going to be changing what's on the SD card? There's a mod for this mod that also lets you extend the SD card slot to the disk drive, and I think in the documentation there's like experimental Wi-Fi loading, but I don't know anything about that. So yeah, put the SD card in and then you screw this mount onto the side and then snap the chip into this mount. The 2 geniuses that made this chip put this little post on the mount that holds the extra screw that's covered by the installation mount. So if you ever want to uninstall the mod, you still have that extra screw that's covered up by the post. So if the SD card is in and the chip is plugged into the ribbon cable and the mount is screwed next to the motherboard, you literally just put it all back together and then you're done. Yay! I told you it was easy, I told you. I really love how seamlessly the ROM loading menu is integrated into the startup. The icons for the game logos are squished into a square, which is kind of brugly to me. The pre-release stuff I saw for the mod had these really cute disc icons for each game. The documentation online says that custom icons are still under development, and they're experimental options right now, so I could find the PNGs of each of the discs of the games that I have on here. But I'm good for now, I'll set all that up some other time. Here are all the games that I have on mine right now. I played a little bit of Ikaruga and Automodelista. These are really badass. I played a good handful of hours on Pikmin and Luigi's Mansion. I'd never played a Pikmin game before. It's hard as fuck. The main game I've been playing on here has been the original Animal Crossing. I was a huge New Leaf head in middle school into high school. It was my first Animal Crossing game and my #1 game of all ever for like years. New Leaf informed so much of my taste and sensibilities growing up. I was waiting for the next entry all throughout high school, and like most longtime fans, I was kind of disappointed with New Horizons after like less than a year. I had heard so much about the first game growing up online, and it seemed natural to go to the series' roots after being disillusioned with the latest entry. And I'll be damned, this game is so special. It might be my new favorite. I feel like New Leaf was so appealing to me because its systems and world had a solid sense of mystery and allure to them. This game has that tenfold because it's the first of its kind. This is the series at its most inventive and experimental. There's so much awesome weird shit that never came back in later games. I love kicking the ball around with the villagers. I love that I can exercise with them. The fish act weird. You can send your NES games to your Game Boy Advance. You need the Game Boy Advance to visit the island, and then once you're done, you can send the island back to your Game Boy Advance and you can play with it like a little virtual pet. I won't speak on all the little oddities and surprises that I've enjoyed while playing through this game for the first time, but this game is full of them. Oddities and weird bullshit are why I love this series, and this first game has so much weird bullshit. Growing up online and seeing stuff about this game, I had always heard that the villagers are mean in this game and how much people want it back, and I thought it'd be the most jarring difference coming from newer entries. But in practice, there was something unexpected that was very jarring to me. 1 month into my playthrough, I started feeling this vibe, and I was like, why is this game kinda Asian as fuck? You get a letter from your mom asking for grandkids, the villagers call you fat and ugly and they tell you to get a job, and low-key everyone calls you lazy. So much of the furniture I've gotten has been very Japan specific. There's a lot of small things that contribute to this game's very culturally specific vibe that no other game in the series really has from what I've seen. Have you heard of the story about how this first game came to be? To put it very briefly, the man that's credited for creating the series worked on a lot of early Nintendo games, and he had to move from Chiba to Kyoto to work for the company. It was only after being so far away from his family and friends that he realized how important it was to be close to your loved ones, to spend time with them and talk with them. His desire to recreate that feeling was the core of the inception of this game. My crazy theory is that what all the white people talking about this game online interpreted as the villagers in this first game being mean was actually just the dialogue being very blunt, in a way that I read as being tied to this game being very culturally specific. Of course, being blunt isn't specific to Asian people, and sometimes the villagers are actually mean, but the bluntness in the dialogue a lot of the time never felt mean-spirited, just honest, in a way that reminded me of my family and the people in my life. This original game was a huge undertaking to localize for the US, a massive amount of dialogue to translate along with so much of the original's items, events, and settings being very culturally specific to Japan. The artistic statement from Katsuya Eguchi that I feel being expressed through this game is that this is what home meant to him. And 25 years after it was made, after the game was localized to replace most of the culturally specific references and translated to a completely different language, this message is so potent and it feels like the beating heart of this game. Here's some of my favorite GameCube games. If you have any recommendations, let me know. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, bye bye.